That's what you call a road victory, kids. That's what it looks like. Framber Valdez brought his A game. The offense looked good. We got a lot to talk about. Good stuff on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros. We hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talk Shows. You find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You know where to find me on Stros 411, back to the bullpen. Just look up H-Town Wheelhouse. You'll find me. Likes, I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet wins. So, Brett, I know that offense has been kind of a hard thing to come across on the road, and I don't know if anybody would have bet on the Astros getting 9 runs in this game, but they must have hired some new hitting coaches overnight because the offense just became all of a sudden a lot more patient, a lot more powerful, and just played a little bit better small ball. A lot of things happened in this game, but we'll talk about that in a second. But the biggest thing, Framber Valdez, this is a guy that the Astros need to step up, especially with the rotation issues, the fact that a lot of the starters have failed to go deep, and the Astros starter ERA in this road trip has been 5.07 or something as terrible as that. But Framber Valdez did what an ace is supposed to do. I still think Hunter Brown is the ace, but Framber Valdez did what he's supposed to do. 7 shutout innings, or I think did he give up 1 run? No, yeah, 1 run. He gave up 1 run, but only 3 hits. He did what he's supposed to do, kept the Astros in the game. Brett, overall, your thoughts about Framber Valdez?
Well, he was big game Framber. I like how you worded it here in the show lineup. And we've seen big game Framber. Big game Framber has shown up in the World Series. Big game Framber has shown up in the regular season. We also know the other Framber Valdez that shows up. The one that goes off the rail, the one that goes rogue, the one that goes as crazy as you do when you have one of those El Tiempo margaritas or 2 or 3 in the stadium. I'm not encouraging that, but I'm just saying sometimes you don't know what Framber you're going to get, right? And tonight, or today, I should say, Framber was number 1 starting pitcher, Framber Valdez. Again, I think, to your point, Hunter Brown is the ace of this club. But if Framber Valdez is going to be here, and he's going to be on this pitching staff, then this is the guy you want to show up. And it's great when he shows up because it does seem like the offense has never really had a hard time supporting him for the most part in his career. So you love to see it. Framber Valdez came out today, shoved, looked good. So 12 swings and misses and a victory. I'll take it, Eric.
Yes. So I know that Framber Valdez, he's a guy that has been up and down. But what we saw today was focus. Mental health, focus has been an issue for Framber Valdez over the year. If there's an error, if there's something that just goes awry, it just kind of seems to just get him just messed up. And so what you saw him, there's no errors. This was a game where the defense was great. You saw Jake Myers go out there and make a catch. When I say a catch, I mean a major league catch out there. It was a 980 hit percentage. It was supposed to land, but Jake Myers went out there like Superman and made a catch. In fact, only 17 of these catches have been made all year. That's just how rare a ball that's got a 980 percentage. No, actually, I take it back. But this is so rare what happened with Jake Myers. Let me find the exact thing. But let's see. But what he did was just rare. Like you don't see what he does. So he's doing it offense. He's doing it defense. But in this game, you saw Framber Valdez. He like if that would have fell, that might have just got him all out of whack. But because he caught it, it was like, yeah, you got it. And that just gave him the confidence to go out there and continue.
Well, Jake Myers, his calling card has been his glove, and his being top 3 this last year in Gold Glove as a top 3 Gold Glove nominee, even though he didn't win it. We know Jake Myers' defensive prowess. The question has always been his bat, and his bat has been overperforming this year gladly with a 297 average. But you're right. A catch like he made today, look, if this has got a hit probability of 98%, that means it's got a catch probability of less than 10. And we've seen players on this team in the outfield, even Cam Smith, make catches that are less than 10% catch probability. So right here you have it. 385 batted balls in the major leagues this season, entering Wednesday, that carried an expected batting average of 980 or higher. All but 7 had fallen for hits. So Jake Myers ran down a baseball that was supposed to be a hit. And that is how someone like Big Game Framber is able to succeed. And you do make a good point, Eric, in that he has had a tendency to fall off the rails. Mentally speaking, he lets things get to him. He lets himself get into his emotions too much to where he does fall apart. And had Jake Myers not made that catch, there's no telling what would have happened. Now, is it a guarantee that Framber would have lost this game, or the Rails would have gone off and the Astros would have lost? Not necessarily, right. But we've seen this happen. And the biggest part of his game is not his death-defying curveball, is not the stuff he can throw across the plate. It is whether or not he can keep it together between the ears.
And Framber Valdez said he was actually working on his focus today, finishing his pitches and going out there and throwing more strikes. He got 9 outs via ground balls. He's known as a ground ball pitcher, so it's something that he's supposed to be doing. That means the action was really good on the sinker. He had 12 whiffs on 32 swings, 10 of them on his curveball, and he just had them guessing. 7 strikeouts, only allowed the 3 hits overall. There was a home run allowed, but that was the only run that they scored. When you're somebody like Framber Valdez that relies a lot on breaking pitches, when somebody guesses right and times up a breaking pitch, they're going to hit it a long way, just like a fastball. When they guess a fastball, they're going to hit the ball a long way. So sometimes they just guess right. So Framber Valdez did a great job, and as Spada said, I think it's a big win for our team. We are not quite there yet offensively, but we're finding ourselves playing 500 baseball. So this one, for once, the offense got us going, and we'll take it. And Framber Valdez didn't need that much, but this is what I've been talking about, Brett, for the past week. The pressure is on the pitchers. And so if you give them the offense like the Astros did, only a one-run game until which inning? Until the 5th inning, and then you score 2 more runs, then in 6th inning, 3 more runs. But if you give them the runs, it gives that pitcher that confidence to go out there and perform and get the jobs done. Because Framber Valdez had that 1-0 lead, and so he felt confident, but any little miscue would tie up. But to give him that little leeway to make a mistake, that's what I mean by pressure. The pressure is not for them to go out there and be perfect, but that's what they're feeling. And so if you give them run support, that's going to be the biggest difference. And we saw some big strides. We'll talk about that in a second, but some big strides that hopefully will lead to some more runs down the road. Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
Hey, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. I want y'all to know about our friends at Supply House. Supply House is the #1 place for all your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical product needs. Use the code SH5 for 5% off your first order. Get the supplies that only the pros are going to go get. That's right. Why? Because they have a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands. You'll find exactly what you'll need. If you need help with an order, they have experts that are in-house, industry-leading service, people that know what you are needing, know who you can talk to, real people. It's not some automated teller. They will get you moving in the right direction with that extra edge of the pros that you're looking for. You get a free Trade Master program offered to you, exclusive with perks and a dedicated line for you to call, free shipping, discounts on every order, and so much more. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Use the promo code SH5 to get 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. And make sure that you check out our friends at FanDuel. Why do I say this? Well, we know the NBA playoffs are in full swing, and yes, I know the Rockets aren't in it, but it doesn't mean you can't have fun with FanDuel every single night, delivering highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments like Therese Halliburton did in Cleveland the other night, putting a dagger in the Cavaliers fans' heart before going back to Indiana. Right now, FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments? What would it look like to combine live props bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds? Well, how could a $200 in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first $5 hits? Well, let me tell you, why don't you go find out? New to FanDuel? That's great because it's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. And Brett, as I'm watching you do those ads, I'm thinking, I don't know if that hat would look good on me, but it looks good on you. So a lot of people were probably thinking Jeremy Pena, he's not a leadoff hitter. He's somebody that would not look good in the leadoff spot. And it's a situation where sometimes you have to take a leap of faith and go with your gut. And that's what Joe Espada did. Yes, he may have been pushed by Jose Altuve. Yeah, I want the little bit of extra time to get from left field to get to the plate to get my at bat. But Jeremy Pena has earned it, and he has really stepped up. He's done what the Astros have needed. So what you've seen is a more patient approach, but at the same time, if he gets a first pitch fastball that he likes, he's going to take it for a home run like he did today. And you saw a lot of positive things in this offense today.
Yeah, definitely a 2-for-5 day for him with 4 RBI. That ball that he blistered to left field and pulled it didn't even have a chance. It was like goodbye, hello, see you later. It was unreal how quick that ball went out of the ballpark. You could even hear it hit the metal sign just over the wall. You love to see that. Because Jeremy Pena put into this spot, you see Altuve kind of regressing a little bit. But Pena's continued to step up. He continues to hit in big spots. And like you said, I mean, turning on a first pitch fastball, I love that. Now, one of the things we've wanted to see is the Astros to be more patient. And sometimes patience isn't always the recipe for success. When a hitter and a hitting coach have a game plan, and that game plan is executed properly, like today with Jeremy Pena, I think this is the results of what happened. So I'm wondering, where are all the people lining up to give Alex Centron or Snitker credit for Jeremy Pena hitting this home run, or the Astros scoring 9 runs in this game, Eric? It sure would seem that if hitting or not hitting is if not hitting is the fault of the hitting coach, surely hitting is also the fault of the hitting coach. But I digress. I love Pena stepping up. He is the guy, going back to the beginning of the season, that Joe Espada said is basically become the leader of this clubhouse. He is the guy that is taking that step, and he's the guy that Jose Altuve has recently said we need to sign him to a long-term deal. And Jerry Pena also said, I would love to be an Astro for life.
And if you're looking at what Pena has done since making that transition to the leadoff spot, he's batted 7 for 26 with a 936 OPS. Yes, this was his 100th first pitch hit in his career. So he is a first pitch type hitter, kind of like Altuve, but I think he's a little bit less aggressive than Altuve is. He chooses the pitches that he wants to get, and Altuve is just up there to he's just him. He's his own person. He just goes out there swinging, and Altuve has had a great career, and I don't know if we're seeing a regression from Altuve a lot, but actually, I take that back. Pena is 15 for 43 since moving to the leadoff spot, but it doesn't matter. He's been doing either way. He's been doing really good.
That's really good.
Yeah, 15 for 43 is really good. So if you're looking at some positives from today's game, it wasn't just the fact that Pena was 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs. That was great, but you have to have people on base. And you had in 2 innings, this is something that the Astros have not had, is patience. You had 7 total walks in this game, and you had 5 of them in between 2 innings. And I believe it was the 5th and the 6th inning. You had 5 runners reach with walks, and they scored. And that's good. Like, you need those extra bases. You need. We've had situations all year where you have runners in scoring position, them not scoring, but they had the big hits today. And it wasn't just Pena. You had Diaz with a big 2-run double. You had DeZenzo with a RBI double to get the scoring started. And you had Paredes with a RBI hit as well. So overall, you had 9 hits, 7 walks in this game, and 8 hits and 9 runs in this game. The offense was here. A lot of positives in today's game. And they even played some little ball in 1 inning where they were like the ball
is it small ball or little ball?
Small ball, whatever you want to say.
You said little ball.
Whatever, dude. Come on.
I couldn't go past that. But Eric, real quick, the 5th inning is a perfect example of what you're talking about. Zach DeCenzo walking. Brendan Rodgers reaches on a fielding error. Okay, Chas McCormick sacrifice bunt and move guys over. He is the master bunter on this team. And then the Astros challenged a call on the field, which was overturned. Pena reaches on a fielder's choice. Rodgers got to 3rd, and then DeCenzo scored on a pass ball. You right there scored those 3 runs, and you needed those 3 runs at the time, Eric. That was right there. You were now up 3-0. They scored 1 run there after that. But that 5th inning did exactly what you talked about: small ball, situational hitting. And there was even a play where Zach DeCenzo, when he slides in, they overturned a call because he was called out, and he was actually safe because he got his arm around that tag. DeCenzo does this. He's done this before. He's a very smart slider. I love when he's on the base pass.
Yeah, I think the Astros have some good players, and it's going to take some time for them. You've got some young players. You got Cam Smith. He's still trying to find his way. You have Zach DeCenzo. He's starting to come into his own as he's getting more playing time. And you have some guys that are still trying to figure out where they fit in this lineup. And Diaz is facing struggles for the first time in his Astros career. And so I think when he came up, he struggled a little bit, but then he found success. But I think this is the first time since that success that he's struggling a little bit, and he's trying to find his way. So, guys, Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. We'll go and continue this conversation next.
Are you looking for the snack that is both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving size has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you saturated fats to keep you feeling fuller longer. Look, no more going and getting these snacks that are empty and they make you feel just like you got a well for a stomach. When you eat protein, when you have pistachios with that protein, it helps you stay full longer, whether you're at your desk, whether you're on a road trip. It doesn't matter. A quick protein boost. Nobody was ever upset about that. And you also have these little grab and go bags with ease. You can do no shells. You can do with shells. You have also all 9 essential amino acids that are packed in these little amazing snacks. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros podcast as well. And I know that we're all a little frustrated with how the offense has been, but we need to enjoy a day where they score 9 runs. Celebrate this. We haven't seen this a lot lately, and just be. I was surprised by this. We actually outscored our opponents on this road trip, despite only winning 2 games. So that was kind of surprising. But the Astros have got to figure out a way to be consistent. And one of those, the Astros' most consistent hitters over the past few years has been Yordan Alvarez. And he is missing right now. He is on IL. And they did some tests and they decided that it wasn't anything major. It's just a muscle strain at the top of his right hand. Joe Espada says he needs rest and hope that he'll return after the 10 days is up. So Espada says, I think with some rest and some time, he'll be back here, hopefully swinging the bat by the time we get back home. That's good news. So hopefully we'll get him here in the next few days. So we know that he's off to a bad start. Yeah. So Brett, I want to carry on the conversation that we had the other day. Is this a reset? So let's say that you had a bad year teaching, and then you get summer break. You get to kind of refresh, have a new outlook on teaching, and then you start your next year with a new group of students. You don't have the same students. Does that change your mental outlook?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course it does. Each year is a new year. And I think that's one of the conveniences, or not conveniences, one of the blessings we have as teachers, is people we're talking to right now, people that are consuming our show at work. Now, you may work with wonderful people. I'm not saying everybody else's job is not good, but you go to the same people year in and year out because you're adults, you're in there. Well, we see different kids every single year. So there is a reset. There is like, you can't judge one class to the next. Everybody has their own personality, they have their own strengths, their own weaknesses. Yordan Alvarez, if this is a strain, if this is something that is easily fixable by just rest and him getting back in, he probably does need a break. There are some times, and a good friend of mine told me today, sometimes you just need to stop and you need to take some time for yourself. And if you take some time for yourself and you just kind of push things off to the side and relax and breathe, maybe that is exactly what needs to happen here. And that's what needed to happen with Yordan Alvarez. So this could be a blessing in disguise. The blessing could be in the curse, and that, we're like, Yordan's hand again. Yordan's hurt again. Well, maybe he needs this. His year was going so untypical, so not Yordan-like, that something needed to stop, halt him in his tracks, and get him back on the road. And I think some of it also is mental too, Eric. This guy cares very much with what he does, and he's almost so stoic that it's hard to read or hard to know when he's struggling. Because anytime I've ever interacted with him, he's had a smile on his face. You would never know that this guy's ever dealt with any adversity. He's just that guy.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. Joe Espada. Yo, Joe.
Oh, we brought him back.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while. So Espada brought up the thing that you kind of not laughed at, but you kind of was like, wait, what? So he said this again. So he just did not seem to be himself. It probably came from the hand. Once he heals, once he gets back, I think we'll see more aggressive at bats and not be as cautious. I think the hand had something to do with it. Yes. This is kind of echoing what he said already. So I think that what we're seeing is they're saying that maybe the hand was an issue, maybe that he should have rested, maybe this was something that he's been dealing with for a while, but at the same time, it could have been something that maybe just popped up, and they're just saying, hey, big guy, let's just go and use this as an excuse to go ahead and take a week off to reset. You're batting 210, 306, 340, 3 homers, 18 RBIs. We're glad that you have 18 RBIs, but we think your batting average could be a little bit better. So
I mean, his RBIs isn't his RBI still leading the team?
I think so. I have to look it up, but
I think it still leads the team. Let me look on the yes, he still leads. Jeremy Pena has 19 runs. He has 18 RBI, but Jeremy Pena also has 5 home runs this year. And I think that's appropriate to just even mention that while we talk about Yordan, because while Yordan is out and down, it's like, who's going to step up? Why is it important for Yordan to have a reset? And that's what I want us to focus on these last few minutes, is because when Yordan is healthy and when he's in there and Jose Altuve is down in that 2 hole, when you got Yordan behind him and he's on fire at the 3 hole, holy crap, watch out. And then if Christian Walker's figuring it out, oh snap, here comes Yainer Diaz. Here comes Isaac Paredes, all these guys. And then they got this guy, Jake Myers, hitting 9th, or they got DeCenzo hitting 9th. They got Chas McCormick, who can bunt in any situation. I mean, this lineup is better when Yordan is healthy and when he is reset and when he is just injected into this lineup and healthy and doing good things. Everybody else around him benefits from that, Eric.
Yeah, and I'm looking up his stats real quick and what he did in April last year, but it's definitely a big drop. There's something that happened, whether it's a change of, or he didn't have enough playing time in spring training. Maybe he had too much playing time in spring training. Who knows what happened? But last year, just to kind of explain what he did last year in April, 263 with the 807 OPS with 7 home runs and 18 RBIs. So
he had a lot of solo shots. He had a lot of solo shots because remember, guys in front of him weren't getting on base, but he was hitting home runs. I remember that. Yeah,
in May last year, he only had 2 home runs. Then he came back in June with 7 because he went through that little slump there, but then he started hitting 7, then 4, then 8, then 7. So Alvarez has been notoriously streaky guy. He can get really hot and really cold at once.
He has, but Hugh brings up a good point. It's Yordan's first season without Tucker close by. Also, without Alex Bregman. These are things that when you talk about this team, as much as we do, they come to like your mind, and you're going, oh my gosh. When you start putting the puzzle pieces together and you see that the Astros are at 500, I almost said 800, are at 500, you don't worry as much as you do when you just look at the fact that Tucker and Bregman and these guys are gone, right? Yordan Alvarez, I believe his issues will fix themselves. He gets back in that lineup. He starts becoming a pain for the pitching. so does everybody else. And one thing corrects the other, and it's just one corrective action after another. And I mean, if Brendan Rodgers is hitting, Brendan Rodgers almost hit a 3-run home run today again. I don't know if you saw that. I mean, he just missed it. I was like, is he going to do it again? As I was watching the game kind of to the side today, I was like, I wonder if he's going to do this again. And he narrowly missed it. But Yordan Alvarez, the reason why, again, it is important for him to reset is because everybody around him benefits when he is hitting the way that we know he can hit.
All right. I would like to have your attention. I've seen a lot of people on X gripe about the fact that Josh Hader was in this game today. Josh Hader, first of all, he has not had an opportunity to pitch in a game since April 29th.
Oh, wow.
This was a chance for basically a homecoming. We all remember let's just call it the rat trade, where we traded Hader for a rat and a guy's helmet falls off all the time. You know the trade I'm talking about. But Josh Hader was part of that trade. And so this was a chance to go back home for him and he was there for 6 years in Milwaukee. This was a way for them to say, thank you for your time in Milwaukee. Yes, it was a 9-1 game. There's no reason to bring him in, but you have an off day tomorrow. There's no reason to not bring in Josh Hader in some capacity. It just so happened that this was a blowout game, but you have to give the guy some work, and this was a perfect situation.
Yeah, exactly. And Jay goes,
I didn't say names. I just said rat guy and guy whose helmet falls off.
Yeah, last night I've got to dedicate myself to saying Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman a lot less. So I do apologize for putting you guys through that again tonight. But Eric, big game Framber shows up. The offense piles on runs with the small ball, and we get a good update on Yordan Alvarez. I say it's a good way to go into an off day before they come home.
Hunter Brown versus Ellie De La Cruz on Friday. That's going to be an epic matchup. So, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go and subscribe to us, and we will see you tomorrow. And go Astros.
Oh, you said it. Thanks. You stole my thunder.
You say it.
Go
Fine,
Astros.
don't say it.